This week we're going to preview USDA's monthly supply demand report. It'll come out on Thursday, April 10th. Then we're going to turn our attention to Brazil, where they're in the final stages of harvest in that country. We're going to come back and look at export trends here in the U.S. and wrap things up with a long-term review of November soybean futures. Hi, this is Brian Basting with Advanced Trading. Let's talk about the soybean market. We've moved into the month of April here, and there's certainly a lot going on in the bean market. We're going to start out this week, however, looking at the upcoming USDA supply-demand report. It'll come out on Thursday, April 10th at 11 o'clock Central Time. Let's take a look at the trade estimates. Now, what we're going to focus on here is the carryout estimate. USDA came out in March at 380 million bushel. Notice the trade is looking for almost unchanged, 379. There is a significant range of estimates, however, 320 to 405 million bushel. That's 85 million bushel. Looking at that range of estimates, there's the potential for price volatility in this report. Let's quantify that a little bit, looking at the history of price volatility associated with the release of the April report. What we did with this slide was look at the last 11 years of price changes in May soybean futures on the day that the report is released. Notice there's a few years there where we didn't see much change, but there's also several years where we've seen significant price moves, both to the downside and to the upside. That's why it's critical to work closely with your trusted risk management advisor to have your positions in place prior to the release of the report on Thursday. Let's shift gears now and focus on South America. Let's take a look at where those beans are produced in Brazil. Now we're going to gradually shift our attention back to the U.S., of course, here in April and May, but it's still important to see what's going on in Brazil because the USDA is forecasting a 10% increase in production in 24-25. If we look at the harvest progress now, nationwide 85% done. Most of the crop that's left to be harvested is in that far southern state of Rio Grande do Sul. We're looking at only about 35% of the crop has been harvested in that state. With that in mind, let's take a look at the short-term weather for southern Brazil. Our slides this week, as usual, are courtesy of T-Storm Weather. We're looking here at southern Brazil the next 10 to 14 days. There is some rainfall moving into that area now. Most of that rain is going to be pushed out maybe into next weekend, towards the Easter weekend. Let's quantify that a bit. You can see over the next 2 weeks now, across Rio Grande do Sul is mostly going to be normal. So you can see that that previous slide was looking at more green area, which implies that over the next 2 weeks, most of that rain will be pushed back. So it looks like there's going to be an active harvest window here for Rio Grande do Sul to get the remainder of those beans harvested. Let's shift gears now and focus on export trends here in the U.S. We're looking at unshipped sales of beans here above last year to all destinations, about where it was 2 years ago. Well, let's shift out here and basically remove all destinations except China. Notice that China just has a minimal amount of beans left on the books here for old crop, well below some of those recent years. Here's the key message. Brazil, with their harvest nearly completed now, has exported 539 million bushel in March. That was a record for the month and up 16% from last year. China has been the leading destination for the first 3 months of the year as they seek to rebuild stocks amid ongoing trade tension with the U.S. Bottom line, Brazil's aggressive export program is continuing with 129 million bushel exported the first 4 days of April. That is nearly 37 million bushels above last year. Let's wrap things up this week looking at trends in November beans. And November beans, as we tape here on Tuesday, are trading near $9.85 a bushel. Notice from mid-April all the way through October there, quite a bit of price volatility. Not every year, but quite a bit of price volatility has been observed in November soybean futures during the spring and summer. That's why it's critical to work closely with your trusted risk management advisor to continue to manage price movement. Now, if you'd like more information, please feel free to contact us at 800-664-2321. We'll put you in contact with one of our risk management consultants who'll be happy to visit with you at your convenience. And remember, we upload every Wednesday. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss an upload. And remember, the USDA report will come out on Thursday, April 10th. Make sure to join our advanced trading team at 1:30 p.m. Central Time for a live detailed analysis of the report. Thanks a lot. Have a good week.